she started thinking, and is it Pesach? Is it Sukkot? And B'lei Ein Hara, I have such beautiful Yom Tovim, which just got through Hanukkah, and you think about the days, back in the day, Hanukkah, or Purim, Mamsha crazy Yom Tov. And then I said to her, what my favorite Yom Tov is? My favorite Yom Tov is Yom Kippur. And she was like, Yom Kippur, that's harsh. But if you stop and think about it, I think for many of the guys in the day, probably the most special Yom Tov was Yom Kippur. Because Yom Kippur, you were just totally disconnected from everything else. And you just hooked up with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And it was such a crazy feeling of connecting. And you felt that connection. Even guys who maybe hadn't even fasted in the past, they came in, it was Mincha, it was by Ne'ilah, and they just got so pumped up and they got so excited. And you almost felt that the Kadosh Baruch Hu was listening to you. And you felt the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that slicha. We almost spoke to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And there's no feeling like that. So on the one hand, it's the hardest Yom Tov. It's the harshest Yom Tov. On the other hand, it's the most beautiful, and the Yom Tov, I think, that a person feels the greatest connection to Kadosh Baruch Hu. And we never forget it. So many guys come back to Nevei. The Yom Tov they come back for is for Yom Kippur. There's this very interesting halacha. It's really a Gemara, Rabbi Yechon, and it says, Ezu ben ha'olam haba, za'asoymech ge'ulu l'tfilah. When a person is davening, a person has to be very careful to not stop between Gol Yisrael, which talks about being redeemed from Egypt, and starting the tefillah, the davening. And we do it both in Shachris and in Marav, the Shulchan Aruch Paskins. Why is there such a special connection between the Geula and the tefillah? Why do you have to have Geula right before tefillah? So I saw a beautiful word that's brought down by Shem, one of the Gera Rebbes. And he says that the koyach, the power of the Jewish people, is b'peh, is with our mouth. It's that we're able to connect and express our innermost feelings, our most spiritual feelings, a ruchnistic thing. We're able to take it and express it in words. We're able to connect to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. We're able to speak to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. By Esav it says, Hayodayim Yidei Esav, his power was in the hands, it was the physical. But our koyach is b'peh. Mitzrayim, the koyach of Paroi, the Rishus, the most evil thing that he did to the Jewish people was that he took away our ability to express ourselves and to connect to Kodesh Baruch Hu, to speak. And his name, if you look at his name, Paro, the first letter is a Pei, the last letter is a Hey, Peh, his mouth. And what's inside of that Peh? Ra, evil. He took the mouth, which we use to connect to a Kodesh Baruch Hu for spiritual things, and he made that just a totally physical thing. It's a Perah. And the Shibud of Mitzrayim, the worst part of the Shibud of Mitzrayim was not the physical Shibud, it was the spiritual Shibud. It was that we lost the ability to connect and to feel a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the Geula from Mitzrayim, when did it come? It's unbelievable. When it came, it says, Vayi bayomim harabi moheim vayomas melech Mitzrayim in this week's parsha. Paro died. Vayi onchu b'nei Yisrael min ha'avodo, vayizaku, and we were suffering from the slavery and the bondage. Vayizoku, and they cried out. Vatal shavosam elo Elokim, and their cry went up to Hashem. Mina avoida. Vayishma Elokim es na'kosam, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu heard their cry. Vayizkor Elokim es briso, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembered his covenant, es Avraham, es Yitzchak, es Yaakov. And that, Rabbi Yisrael, was the beginning of the Geula. Right after that is when Moshe Rabbeinu goes out and he sees the Sneh Boer Bo'esh, he sees the burning bush, and that's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sends Moshe Rabbeinu to Klal Yisrael to save Klal Yisrael. When we got our mouth back, we got our ability to speak, when we were able again to express ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to cry out, to connect, that was the beginning of the Geula. And that's the key to all of the Geulas. Davening is such an unbelievably important thing, and it's so hard for us. If you stop and think, this, in the coming year, we are going to say Shemona Esrei over 1,000 times. Over 1,000 times. And so many times we come to Shemona Esrei, we're so busy, we're thinking about things. My head is all over the place. And the keys to the universe is through Tefilah. And that's why the Geula, which was the gula of our mouth, and we once again got the ability to speak to a Kadosh Baruch Hu, opened up our souls, could express themselves, and we could connect. That's what we got by Pesach. And that's why the name Pesach, if you listen to the word, the name Pesach is Pesach. Our mouth can speak again. We can connect to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. I think this is an unbelievable opportunity, that this podcast, that we can connect, we can speak. I can get up here and speak to the alumni. What I would like to do is I would like to try to work every week on one of the brachas, on an aspect of Tefilah, and to try to get that power back, that power of Pesach, that we should be able to connect and to speak to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. Mitzvah Hashem. We'll see you next week.